commitment to social justice in education. So we're going to explore two comparisons. Freire argued that teachers should be committed to empowering indisposed and marginalized individuals and groups. Return to the earlier section on Herbert Spencer, a social Darwinist, argued that teachers who tried to promote social equality were making a serious mistake that attempted to interfere with the natural law of competition. So we have two different arguments. Freire, which tried to bring the social justice among different social groups, and Darwinist that impose the different social levels, foundations of education. So let's explore the two different approach and arguments, pro and cons, that at least is exposed on this book, Foundations of Education, 13th edition. The first one, if teachers do not take a stand on social issues, they are merely reinforce the discriminatory status quo. Teachers' functions is to educate students in the skills and subjects needed to earn a living, not to indoctrinate them in a political ideology. So let's compare 1 and 2. So the idea of Darwinist emphasis is that the discriminatory status quo of that should be not reinforced by teachers is affecting the subject need to earn a living or the skills. So it means that you not should be, what this means is that Freire says you should be developing people's consciousness and teachers should be guiding students to develop their consciousness. And Darwin says the only thing that matters in the education is to teach people practical skills so they can earn a living. And indoctrinate them in a political ideology is not on the curriculum. But I remind you, there is different positions that you earn a living by knowing political standards. Most of the people that actually manage to say the whole world actually are in political and have to form themselves in these political ideologies. So for me, the first one is not even an argument. 1 point for Freire, honestly. Like, one thing does not affect the other one. It's even better to help somebody to train them in the skills and subjects for them to need to earn a living when you emphasize from the starting point where they start and where they are right now to have them to build a perspective of how their options of earning a living may look like. So it's just like I don't even think I got surprised of this argument, to be honest. Education can be a positive agency of social change that promotes equality among individuals. Freire. Darwinist. Trying to change society is an utopian dream that interferes with economic progress. O sea, let's rephrase this. So, you telling me that Freire says education should train people to make them aware of the social changes that need to be done. So, to trying to direct people to the awareness of what have to be done so those things actually get done, right? You don't know, you cannot change what you don't know what is need to be changed. Well, clear argument for me. And then trying to change a society is an utopian dream. I mean, honey, whatever came with this Darwinist ideology and arguments, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, anyway, society is always changing. And most of the economic progress is made by people be aware of the things that actually need to be changed, innovations and things and implementations that need to be done. And thanks to that, innovations, of course, people adapt, people create new technologies, new solutions to common problems or urbanized, industrialized problems. So the same thing. I got like, it's not about changing society. The thing is that society is an ongoing change because how you even define society in the first place. It's not like something that is just a square and never transform its shapes. Like society is an ongoing evolutionary way of how people interact to each other. So it's anyway always changing and it's along with economic progress or no progress. So just the fact that you educate people and train education as an agency to change and promote equality among individuals, you probably technically what you're doing is you emphasize in a more ethical way of approaching the ongoing change that anyway it will occur. So I'm telling you, teachers need to raise students' consciousness about the agents and conditions that exploit them. Further, Darwinist teachers should encourage competition that brings out the best in people. Honestly, for me, both of them are correct and it does not interfere one to the other one. Furry says, okay, you should be aware of the things that um, exploit you, especially if it's a marginalized group that live on poverty and they facing discriminatory and racial or crime bias. It's understandable for people to be aware of what are those things that actually gonna take away from your lifetime value, growth, everything. And yes, amount of the development stage and the classroom through different projects is by nature that we one with each other would try to in a sense of way to compete or show how we could be better than. So that is, I feel like, a natural force genetically enforced among every single student or individual. So competition with consciousness, again, I don't feel like will interfere one to the another one because even on the most top of category social status, people compete, yes, with each other, and they are aware of too who are the people that maybe try to take them out of the market or take their positions or things like that. So it's like, I mean, in a sense of way, you always below someone or someone's always competing with you for a certain amount of market or time and space object. So it's just like, okay, both arguments are right. I don't think any of them interfere one to another one. Teachers should join forces with progressive groups in organizations that are working for social justice. Fairly perspective, and then Darwinist perspective. Society is proved through individual efforts in hard work, not by raising consciousness. I mean, society is improved through individual efforts in hard work, not by raising consciousness. This remind me to the invisible hand, which emphasized that everybody desire of growth and ambitions shape economic perspective, and that we should just let people, that's what actually one of the fundamental ideas of capitalism, where we should let people just, free everything, markets and um, space, because naturally they gonna go to the route of development, and because they have self-interest is actually what bring common growth for everybody. But yes, there is a phrase that says that it's not for the goodness of the bakery that we get, the baker or the banker of the farmer, that we get our eggs and milk and whatever is because they have their self-interest that we get as an outcome of benefits, because they looking for their personal interest, they bring something to the market that we want, so we get benefits, so everybody gets benefits. But and it's actually shown by the currently inequality among social group through the whole entire globe, that yes, it brings a lot of framework to growth, but at the same time, raising consciousness should be one of the main things to emphasize that, because there's certain things that you can do and you can project from yourself based on the category of social status where you are. Because you can, okay, I might have the big goal and dream and interest of doing a huge hospital, let's say. I'm not even into medicine, but let's say to that. But if I am not with the resources, or even building and having a land to build the hospital, I have personal interest, but my decisions to be able to provide a certain amount of value to the market is based on my status quo. So yes, you can, through different interchange and level ups through the time, go to the position. I can get to the position of building a hospital, but how many things are shaping drastically the way that I get there by natural selection? Because the truth is that it's not like we have equal amount of sources for everybody to interchange, and most of that is generational heritage, which allows to know, or like to have access to certain amount of resources of information to even know how you can even add value. So consciousness, I feel like, is one of the main things for you be able to have a better, capitalized way of interacting in society and economy. So I don't know, man. Like, Darwinist for me is full of shit. Darwinist theory is full of shit. Yes. Only thing I agree about it is competition. Yes, because actually, and there's something too about competition. It's not just about to compete. I guess that the best idea to be reinforced is to compete with the old version or the current version of yourself instead of somebody else's version, because that is based too, like, on a status quo. How can I compare myself with somebody that have way bigger resources, that have way better capacitation and technology access, relationship access? Like, let's not be delusional, because it's like, okay, competition, but competition for what? Like, competing with a freaking empty stomach, like, or a full stomach. Who you think is gonna last more energetically? Like, energetically. Who you think is gonna last more? Or someone that have an empty stomach and is gonna go for a race, or someone that have a full stomach they have a good proper nutrition. Of course, they rest before doing the runs and go for the run. Who you think is gonna be well better prepared? It's a lot in factor in there. So you cannot tell me, oh, competition by its nature. No, but honey, no, it doesn't work like that. Because you put a poor person compete with somebody that have all the resources. Who do you think is gonna win? So it's really cute to say it like that when already it's people that's predisposed to always win. And I'm not saying that, okay, like the one that have the empty stomach cannot be the other one. There's a lot of factors too, but we're talking about that it's already a predisposition, like who have better chances. And then on the macro view, who actually will make it the best and the fastest. So it's like, come on, like let's not be delusional in this way. So this was my inner reflection of today education and reading. Um, this book is really amazing. I really recommend it to anybody that like to see how education is being formed through humanity history, and I think it brings a huge perspective of how idealism have really impact our society in a profound way. So, Foundations of Education, this is the 13th edition. And that's for today. Let me know if you would like me to share my ideas and, more interaction like this. This book, like you guys see, I still have a couple time. I can share a couple good moments and discussions about it. I have a good still ongoing time with this. So yeah, thank you so much for hearing me. This is, well, right now nighttime, so cafe con shei, actually tea, but let's fake. Have a good night.